Good evening, everyone. Thank you for attending. Today, I will discuss something that seems so natural, yet we forget the importance of it. The simple act of sleeping. The importance of sleeping. A fundamental part of the behavior of most species. In order to highlight the reasons that make sleeping a necessary activity, organically and psychologically, I will first tell you a story about the disastrous effects of not sleeping properly. At the beginning of the 60s, there were many unknowns in the field of science. One of the most contemporary and intriguing was to know if it was possible to die because of the inhibition of rest, specifically the lack of sleep. The reality is that insufficient sleep has been associated with an increased risk of diabetes, heart problems, obesity, depression, and many other diseases. In 1964, Randy Gardner and Bruce McAllister, two students, undertook an experiment to see how long one person could stay awake. The original plan was to break the Guinness Book of World Records obtained by a disc jockey from Honolulu that marked a total of 260 hours, about 11 days without falling asleep. They did it, but not without the help of a scientist who, to their good fortune, joined their experiment sometime later. The pair added a partner named Joe Marciano to the group. Since Randy Gardner was the guinea pig, they needed someone else to help monitor him all times, using games or any other effect to keep him awake. It was not long before they began to fear the state of sleeplessness. Not only was Randy irritable and having horrible mood swings, but after a few days of being constantly awake, he heard voices, his vision was blurry, and he often got confused, saying incomplete and irrational sentences. When the scientist William Demant joined, who was intensely studying the science of sleep, things changed. He had once expressed the relief the three students showed with his arrival, stating they were contemplating stopping the experiment because of their fear the experiment would cause permanent harm and their question would remain unsolved. Could someone die by spending a lot of time deprived of sleep? There had been similar experiments done with cats, but after 15 days without sleep, the animals died. These animals, however, were kept awake chemically. The students were not. The conclusion they arrived at was that some parts of the brain rest and sleep while others remain awake, and considering they were just beginning to inquire about the importance of the dream, the experiment involved serious cognitive and behavioral alterations being detected in Randy. However, with the passing of the days, they sort of disappeared. Once the record was reached, the subject slept for 14 consecutive hours and woke up only to go to the bathroom. With the passing of days, his sleep patterns returned to normal. Initially, he had no problem, but in later years he complained that he suffered from severe insomnia. Statistically, and for various reasons, the lack of proper rest begins with a series of symptoms that occur in all human beings without exception. Sleep is something we must all do because our neural structure demands it stay active and alert. The experience showed that lack of sleep causes physical and psychological alterations, and so a new paradigm was born in the science field. My goal today is to inform you about the importance of sleep, the right amount of time to achieve the proper rest. Several studies have shown that a proper sleep routine helps to heal, improves the immune functions, and the functions of your metabolism, among other benefits. According to a study of the School of Medicine of the University of Pennsylvania published in the magazine Sleep, the minimum healthy hours of sleep is 8 hours or more. Sleeping less than 6 hours, as most do, is equal with not having rested at all. since this amount of sleep contributes to people feeling exhausted, in a bad mood, and having difficulty with performance problems during the day. Further, the research showed that cognitive and performance deficits in those who sleep 6 hours a day are very similar to those who do not sleep for 2 days in a row, and sleeping at least 8 hours per night is key to be functional the next day. According to specialists, the 3 elements of a good quality of sleep are duration, continuity, and depth. Not sleeping brings with it many behavior and performance disorders, makes us slow and more prone to sudden mood swings, among other serious symptoms. In young people, a good rest is a priority for their good academic and social performance, and for its growth in general. In recent years, the use of chemicals to obtain deep sleep and the necessary rest become more frequent due to the stressful and increasingly demanding of our lives. The first federal health study on the use of sleeping pills found that almost 9 million Americans take prescription sleeping pills with the intention of sleeping well at night, and the rates are highest among older adults, 80 and over. Prescription sleeping pills are linked to an increased risk of cancer, diabetes, obesity, amnesia, depression, confusion, and increased risk of death. Sleeping pills are also linked to strange and dangerous behaviors such as sleepwalking, sleep eating, having sex asleep, and sending text messages asleep, which cannot be remembered the next day. Sleeping is an indicator of health. A sufficient quantity as well as an adequate quality should be considered essential elements of a healthy lifestyle in the same way as exercise or nutrition. Studies have shown over the years that it does truly help us to maintain an optimal state of physical and psychological performance. So please remember, a good rest before the beginning of a new day will prove to be productive. And take care of your health and be happy. So let's all get a good night's sleep tonight. Thank you for listening.